everywhere there seems to be nothing but war and war. The poisonous atmosphere of war seems to have reached even the India-Bangladesh border. At any moment, India could attack Bangladesh. The recent political changes in Bangladesh have become one of the biggest headaches for India. Bangladesh is no longer under anyone's control, and for this reason, India has been threatening to indirectly occupy Bangladesh. Although these can be dismissed as political statements, if India seriously considers such a move, what will the situation be? Will Bangladesh be able to confront a military giant like the world's fourth largest power, India? Or will it turn into another Gaza? Or if India attacks Bangladesh, could it end up divided, with the Seven Sisters separating from India? Let's analyze this situation. The Indian Army has around 1.3 million soldiers, making it the second largest in the world after China. However, a significant portion of the Indian Army is engaged in internal security operations in regions like Kashmir, Madhya Pradesh, and the 7 northeastern states known as the Seven Sisters. The Indian Army has stationed a large number of troops to suppress insurgents in these areas, and they must remain there, as there is a strong possibility that these states could break away if they don't. On the other hand, Pakistan's army has an active reserve of around 700,000 soldiers, a significant portion of which is always looking for an opportunity to attack India. This requires the Indian Army to maintain at least 800,000 soldiers to counter Pakistan and handle internal crises. In addition to this, India must maintain an additional 300,000 soldiers to defend itself against China's aggression at the border. However, with only 2 lakh soldiers left, India would face enormous challenges if it tried to attack Bangladesh. The reason is that military experts believe that to conquer a country, you need at least 3 times the number of soldiers as the country's own strength. The interesting thing here is that while India may destroy Bangladesh with airstrikes, they would still need ground troops to capture it. The Indian Army cannot invade Bangladesh with only 200,000 soldiers because Bangladesh's army is not small either. So, in this situation, attacking Bangladesh becomes nearly impossible for the Indian Army. However, there is a possibility that China or Pakistan might provide weapons to Bangladesh to keep India busy on its borders, which could turn into a disaster for India. But India's strength does not end here. India has one of the most modern and powerful air forces in the world. However, India's air force also has its weaknesses. Although India has enough fighter jets, they lack the logistic support required for long-term missions. The Indian Air Force has only 10 heavy transport aircraft and 30 medium transport aircraft, which is insufficient to transport troops and supplies for a large country like India. This became evident during the 2020 conflict with China when India faced a shortage of transport aircraft for weeks, which delayed the deployment of troops and equipment. Therefore, if India were to engage in a war with Bangladesh, its air force would struggle to play a significant logistical role. However, India's air force has almost 500 fighter jets in total. Without a doubt, with this number of aircraft, India could obliterate Bangladesh in a short amount of time because Bangladesh doesn't have any fighter jets powerful enough to compete with Indian ones. Additionally, Bangladesh lacks a strong air defense system. But even here, India faces challenges. Most of India's fighter jets are not capable of conducting counter-strike missions. Yes, India does have 270 Su-30 fighter jets, along with MiG-21s and Jaguar fighter jets. But these are outdated models in today's modern age. The only planes capable of carrying out attack missions are the Mirage 2000 and Dassault Rafale, but their numbers are insufficient for large-scale operations. Furthermore, India's fleet of Rafales is primarily meant for countering China and Pakistan, so India cannot deploy them for operations against Bangladesh. India's air force is facing a shortage of modern fighter jets, and Pakistan has a large number of fighter jets, including F-16s, which could pose a serious threat to India's Rafales. In comparison to China's air force, India's air force is far behind in terms of military. Moreover, due to the presence of man-portable air defense systems, MANPADS, India's fighter jets would likely face regular destruction and ground strike missions, gradually reducing India's air superiority. Over time, Bangladesh would increasingly become a battlefield where thousands of innocent lives would be lost. However, this does not mean that Bangladesh is weak in military power. Bangladesh is a strong country in terms of military strength, and its army is constantly focusing on acquiring new weapons and technology. Bangladesh currently has the largest and most powerful military in South Asia, and the army is always ready to fight in the country's defense. In fact, Bangladesh's professionalism and expertise in the military field surpass India's, as Bangladesh has gained battlefield experience in 43 countries worldwide, whereas India has limited international combat experience. The Bangladeshi army has gained direct combat experience under the United Nations in almost 50 countries. This experience and expertise make Bangladesh's military much more proficient than India's. In addition to their expertise, the Bangladeshi army is moving towards acquiring more modern weapons. For instance, Bangladesh has bought some of the world's most advanced drones, including the Bayraktar TB2 from Turkey, which played a critical role in Ukraine's defense, destroying thousands of Russian soldiers with just 50 drones. Moreover, by increasing its domestic production and purchasing modern weapons from foreign countries, Bangladesh is strengthening its military power. By 2030, these new weapons will be incorporated into Bangladesh's military, which will elevate the country to new heights of defense capability. One of the key steps in improving Bangladesh's military strength is the acquisition of amphibious tanks. Recently, Bangladesh ordered 54 advanced amphibious tanks from China, which are capable of operating both in water and on land. These tanks can easily maneuver in strong currents and are highly effective for launching specialized attacks, further strengthening Bangladesh's defense. Lastly, we must remember one important thing. War never brings peace. If India attacks Bangladesh, it may not be able to occupy it, but it will certainly be destroyed, and thousands or even millions of innocent lives will be lost. Moreover, such a war would be dangerous for India, as engaging with Bangladesh would give China and Pakistan an opportunity to attack India. In such a scenario, the Seven Sisters may also revolt, turning their unarmed movement into an armed one. In this case, both countries would be severely harmed. Therefore, the people of these two neighboring countries should avoid any actions that could create enmity between them, as it would harm both countries.